There was a moment before the game last weekend where the Shrewsbury players gathered to take a knee. It wasn't clear what they were doing at first because it took a bit of time, but they then took a knee. There was some loud booing. Some have argued it's because of the delayed situation. Others have spoken out against the act of taking a knee. And there has been booing in previous games when opponents have taken the knee at Hillsborough. I wondered what your thoughts are on the matter.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, yeah, I do remember the incident last week, Rob, and what I can say, you know, in terms of the matter was that while I can understand there was a bit of confusion with it, there was a bit of confusion with probably the players lining up in a line, a bit of confusion because it looked like a delayed taking of the knee. So I can understand the confusion in that, and I can understand some of probably where some of our fans may have seen it, but and this ain't for me alone, because I'm sort of addressing this along with, we've had a lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans calling to the club and writing to the club, and show their disappointment. And you know, obviously I was disappointed at the time to hear it, because what we got to remember, Rob, is the taking of the knee is a stance for everybody. You know, it's an equality, purpose-driven worldwide. It's right across the world. It's not just something that's been sort of thought up by the Shrewsbury players and delivered. It's been something that's been worldwide throughout, and it's continuing. And at the time, Shrewsbury players have continued to do it. Our players have chosen not to do it this season, but it's been an approach by the players as one, as a group, as one. And certainly, but that's not to stop the Shrewsbury players doing it. So they've gone ahead and wanted to take the knee. What I would say in terms of it, we've got to use last week as an educational purpose. And what I mean is, I'm not patronising anybody by any shape or means. You know, what I'm just wanting to do is the taking of the knee is a stance by each their own, each club. By taking these, Shrewsbury chose to do it last week. We didn't. Now, the best thing, I'm not saying for all fans to agree with it or to sit and applaud it, but what we don't want as a club is to show in boos as our disapproval of it, because what it does is it paints a picture against Sheffield Wednesday, but that's not us. We're a wonderful historic club and a community football club that's recognised for its wonderful fan base and the tremendous support that we have. We're a historic football club in the football pyramid out there, and lots of people look on Sheffield Wednesday as a wonderful football club. And we are a fantastic football club, and we want to be remembered for those positive things that we are. We don't want to be remembered for a section of our fans booing, taking a knee for 5, 6, 7 seconds. What it is, we want to be going down and be spoken about of the huge club, the wonderful fan base that we have, and all the magical memories that we've had here at Hillsborough, and continue to have it at Hillsborough. Right now, tonight, 7 o'clock, for all us England fans are out there, England players will be taking the knee tonight, and we'll be supporting them tonight, really, in taking that. So it's no different to what happened last week. It's no different to potentially what could be happening with other teams. What we want to do is make Hillsborough a respected place, and no matter what teams come there, and whether they take the knee, standing in the circle, or drop a knee in the individual place before kick-off, I think to boo them and show our disapproval of boos paints the club in the wrong picture. We've got a fantastic fan base that's part of a community as well, and we, along with fans and other people, take a unified stance with it, because equality is for all. You and I, Rob, anybody listening to this, it's right across the board. Doesn't matter what skin colour you are, what nationality you are, what religion you are, it's for everybody. And that's where, you know, I just wanted to clear up that message. And as a manager at Sheffield Wednesday, is to put that message out, because we are a wonderful football club, and we want to remain that and stay in the football pyramid as this fantastic football club, and not be painted a negative connotation in terms of that. And as I said, I don't stand alone, because this week we've had a lot of Sheffield Wednesday supporters ringing from there and writing from their disappointment in terms of those boos. So let's turn it round. Let's stick together. You know, we want to be remembered this season as well. We've got targets and aims, and those targets and aims we all know. And to get those targets and aims, we've got to be together going forward. So that's been my message to the supporters. And, you know, hopefully last week was just a bit of a minor confusion.
We've had a chat with Lee Gregory today. He's spoken to us about his playing time. He says he's spoken to you about it, and he said to you that he's not happy with it, that he wants to play more often than he is. What was that conversation like, Darren?
All the players, every single one of the players wants to play every single week. And as a manager, I would not have it any other way, because that's what I want. That's what we want from our players. We want that from our players, being driven every single week to play. Because what does that mean? It means for Sheffield Wednesday Football Club, we've got a hungry group of players where there's a lot of competition in the air and they want to play. As a manager, I would always endorse that, because it means that not only players are competing to get in the team, but they're competing to stay in the team and play consistently well. And as long as I've got that, I'll always endorse that. So what I'd say for the rest of the season is more of the same.
I suppose the obvious follow-up, Darren, is Gregory such a key player for you, very fit, very healthy. Why isn't he one of those players who play the vast majority of games, let's say, within reason?
Rob, what I will say to you is all of them are key players for me. All of them are key players for the football club. And I keep saying to players, and I'll echo it out, whether you play 40 odd games or you play 4 games, whether you come on the pitch for 70 minutes or you come off the pitch after 70 minutes and you come on the pitch for the final 20 minutes or 6 minutes, every part of second and minute, it means something for the club, and we have to contribute in all areas. It doesn't mean that, because he's played 40 games, 90 minutes in the season, that he's the most important player. Because as you know, as a squad and a team, everybody has their part to play throughout of it. And it's just like saying that me as a manager, you'll take all the plaudits and accolades when you're winning, and then you'll take all the negatives when you're losing. But behind the scenes, I've got a team, and that team is just as important. And that's why last week, you know, we scored a goal, Mark McGuinness, from a set play. We spoke about Simon Island because that's his work. So there's a lot of work behind the scenes in the staff, and what do you deem important and what you deem less important. You can put tags on it. But for me, there's a real importance in my staff throughout the whole pyramid of the football club, because without people doing their jobs behind the scenes, it's impossible for us to do the jobs. And of course, we get the plaudits because we're seen on the front line and people can physically see us. I'll turn it same to the players. You're a squad and a group of players, and over the course of the season, with injuries, suspensions, loss of form, fatigue, the squad will get called upon. So, and that's how we've maintained that at Sheffield Wednesday. The group's a lot smaller this year, but there's more versatility to the group. So, as I said, I'll go back to it. If any of the players are signalling that they want to play, they're the ones really that will dictate that, Rob, in terms of that. And they know that that they'll dictate that, and they dictate it by playing well, playing consistent, and delivering the goods for the team.
I know we've asked you a lot about changes over the years, and I don't want to flog a dead horse for this, but when you make changes, is it the case that sometimes you make changes because you feel like you've got to keep everybody happy? Is that just part of your job? That yes, I know you want to pick a team to beat a certain team, whoever your opponent is, but is there also a consideration in your head, I have to give this player a game, otherwise he's going to come knocking on my door, I've got to get him in there? No, because the players know when we make changes, it's a genuine change to look at the opposition and to go and win a game, to take into consideration games up and coming, fatigue, freshness, certain qualities that you might have in the group that you can exploit with the opposition.
Never am I making a change just to keep somebody happy, because it'd be the wrong thing to do, and it sends out the wrong messages really. The messages are clear here. We've got a group of players, and they keep each other sharp each and every single day, which is what we want. We feel the balance in terms of what we've got in this season, in terms of the squad, was a right group, and that balance stays the same as long as we don't get any injuries or anything like that. Then we'll continue, and they'll continue competing. And again, you know, we've trained this week, we've selected a team for tomorrow, and we'll see how we go.
Just a final one on Lee Gregory. He also said to us today that if the club was to hold contract talks with him, it wouldn't even be a negotiation. It'd be a done deal, because he's that desperate to stay at Sheffield Wednesday. The fans want him to stay. They love him. Why hasn't the club held talks with Lee Gregory over a new deal?
Because at the moment, Lee Gregory is on the contract here with us. And again, for me, you presenting that to me, and I've not heard Lee Gregory's, I like it, Rob, because what he says to me is, when I first came to this football club, there was players wanting to leave. When I came here, there was a player that I offered a contract to stay, and he blatantly said he'd had enough and he wanted to leave. That was when I arrived here at the football club. Now, as last season and this season, you're seeing players wanting to stay and extend their contracts. And we are at the level that we are at. So, and some of the players here, you'd probably feel that they probably should be aspiring to probably play at levels above. But the mere fact that they want to stay here can only mean a couple of things. It means that the environment's right, the culture's right, they're developing, and they're ticking the box in terms of all what they need from football inside and outside. So for me as a manager, to hear one of my seniors say that, then I think all of us must take credit in that, really. But as I said, when the time's right to discuss with Lee Gregory, as with all the rest of our players, there's a time for that.
Is it simply a reality that because the club is in League One and aspires to be in a different division next season, that for the most part, I mean, I guess Dylan Bashir is a different matter because he's a younger player, that you simply have to wait to find out what division you're in before you can maybe talk to some of these players? Is that just the reality of it?
Yeah, but the reality of it as well, Rob, is, you know, all players are contracted, however short and long their contracts are. All players now currently are contracted at least to the end of the season. So we're still on the contract, really. I know in football terms, we think that probably the end of the season's short, but they're still on the contract and they still belong to Sheffield Wednesday. So at the moment, we've got our jobs is to coach, if you're coach or manager the team, if you're a player, perform to the best of your ability, and that's exactly what we're doing. And what we just don't want to be doing is anything outside of football that takes our focus away from it, Rob. We just want to keep focus, keep our momentum going, keep developing week in, week out, keep turning the page. And when we turn the page, is being the best version of ourselves. And as I said, you know, if the players are doing the business, I don't think they have to worry about the contractual situation, because the proof will be in the pudding, as they say, in terms of their performances and how well we do this season.
Are you interested in, you know, working with Lee beyond this year? You know, is that something that you've got, you know, an aim to get him sort of signed up?
Absolutely, all of them. I'm committed to all of them. The boys know here, since I've arrived at the club, I kind of said what I've said to them if I'm not committed to it. And that's what I've always been since I've been a manager in terms of the players. Once they're working alongside me and my coaching staff, we make sure we maximise what we can with them day in, day out. So that come on a Saturday when they're ready to perform for the club, they're in a better place. We've seen significant strides with all of our players with the contact time that we have with them. We want to see improvements from individuals. We want to see a winning team, and that's what we always work towards, and we'll continue to work towards that. So, and at the moment, we've saw that thus far this season, but we know, Rob, ahead that there's plenty more work ahead to do, but we're aware of that.
Final question from me. Any injury news, Darren, that you can update us with?
Probably Josh Windass is probably a major concern from last week. picking up that knock. And we think probably he'll be the one that really misses out. Apart from that, the group is in good form. Akin played 45 minutes last week. Good. Dennis Adederin joins back in next week. Good to have him back. George is making good strides. So yeah, the signs look good with in regards to one or two getting back over the next few weeks.
And just on Josh, is it just a case of there's no need to really risk him in an FA Cup game, or is it something that could keep him out for a while?
We feel that probably the first bit, but we'll get him. We'll have a look at him next week, and we'll get him back in training and have a look and see how he is really. But yeah, it's probably more the first part really in terms of where he's at really. We don't think it's anything too serious, but we'll review him again next week.
Thanks, Darren. All the best this weekend.
Thanks, Rob.
You right, Darren? How you doing?
Good, thanks, Joe.
Good stuff. You touched on Dennis there. So we saw some pictures of him back out on the grass, that big grin of his going again. How nice is it to have him back around the players again?
Yeah, no, it's really good. And he's, honestly, Joe, he's chomping at the bit to get back in now. But in terms of his schedule, he's really at the final part of it. And the final bit now is then coming back in with us and him getting some volume and some game time in and around maybe the 23s or maybe some in-house games. So he's really chomping at the bit really, and we're really pleased to see him back. So as I said, he'll be back in with us by next week, back in with the main group.
And has everything gone as you'd hoped with him? Obviously you had to have that surgery that you spoke about. Like, has everything gone sort of perfectly well?
Yeah, it has really gone well, and that's why now he's in the final bit where he'll get back in with the group, where now everything ain't really controlled and timed. Now he's reacting to certain things, but we feel that he's at a place where we can place him back in with the main group, and hopefully over that course he'll still progress to do what he's doing, progress where he can get a couple of maybe in-house games, and if he comes through all that, then make himself available for first team selection. So as I said, he's at the end of it, but there's still some work to be done.
Have you got like I'm not going to ask for obviously specific dates, but have you got like an estimate of when he might be able to get back playing for the first team again?
No, but obviously just coming towards the end of November and him sort of being back in next week, coming sort of in the first week of December, it's really good to have him back, and certainly, we'll have a look at him as we come in around that sort of that Christmas period of games where we've probably got those 4 games in 11 days, where probably to have him as another body in will be great, But as I said, he's midfield, and at the moment we got bodies in there, so hopefully to have him back and potentially George back will add another 2 in that midfield department.
Brilliant. And you touched on Akin there, getting his 45 minutes to the 23s, saying George is making good strides. Are either of them in contention for this weekend, possibly?
Possibly, no, not for this weekend. Akin's doing really well, very good. He's whispered in my ear this week, he said, I'm ready, despite him having just the 45s, and it's great. And as I said, hopefully, if we don't pick up any more knocks and injuries to the centre halves, then he's still got a programme that he's still following, Akin, that we just want to tick some boxes with him. But he's had 45 minutes, he's had another week, 10 days in training. Every day that goes past Joe is a day to him, making another step closer to the first team on the pitch. So really pleased to have him back, and obviously, as you know, for me, he's on that left-hand side, which is important.
So and with George, are we looking at sort of possibly the game after this one? Like where's George at in his recovery?
Yeah, the games we find ourselves in these 1-game weeks, so it's just about George being able to put his weight through it, and he looks more happier, more brighter. So he can only tell me that he's happier with what he's feeling in his body. So yeah, again, the thing is with George, we don't want to push him too quick, too soon, because when he comes back, we want him to stay back, and that's where we're heading. So the signs look good with George, and as I said, it might be another week, it might be another 2 weeks, but if I could go off that time scale, then I'd be happy, and I'd be more than happy to have him back in a week or two, and then progress and move forward.
Brilliant. And just with those injuries, you said you got Akin in your ear there. How difficult is it for you as a manager? You know, when you've got these players saying, "Come on, Gaffer, I'm ready to play now."
Yeah, it is that, and I do like it, but because of his progress to get back, Joe, even though he's back and he's with the group and you can physically see him, there still needs to be that volume, and he still needs those match minutes, because we need to put his body through as much stresses as possible in an uncontrolled manner, so that he integrates back in with the first team squad on a match day. And as I said, he's nearly there. He really is nearly there. But as I said, we still feel he's got some more work, and hopefully we don't get any knocks from the centre backs that he's forced to come back in. But he's making some wonderful strides, and as I said, it's great to have him back. And him being back in the group is sharpening his tools even more so in terms of getting back. And we said that he would be back before the year's out, and he's clearly back before that. So credit to the medical team, and hopefully, as I said, over these next week or so, he'll continue to progress, and his job will want to be part of a match day squad.
Fantastic. And just with Ben, has he managed to have his surgery yet, or are you still waiting to be able to have that done?
Yeah, no, his surgery's booked in for next week.
Okay, fantastic. And just lastly for me, you mentioned before about the youngsters you have in talks with about their first pro contracts. Any progress with those young lads, with Rio and Sean?
Yeah, that's I'm well in the knowledge of it, but that at the moment has been conducted by Academy manager Steve Haslam. He's currently doing that now, and doing a good job with that. And as I said, it's in a good place at the moment. But Steve's just keeping me well informed how they're getting on, and he's dealing with that at the moment.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time, Darren.
Thanks, Joe. Cheers.
Darren, how's it going? You all right?
Yeah, afternoon now.
Just a quick couple from me, really. Just in terms of the side that we can expect tomorrow, is this an opportunity to give a couple of the younger players that have been involved in some of the cup games another go, or are we going to see a matchday squad sort of more similar to the ones that we see in league matches?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's whatever squad we pick in that, and unless it's some of the youngsters, your younger ones, then they're still all seniors really, in terms of what you can expect to see, and rightly so, because as I said, Alex, the games, we're in 1 game weeks now, coming into the month of end of November, month of December. So the squad is what it is, and what we have got, we've still got 19 seniors available. So yeah, we can select from those. You'll find it with the FA Cup being 9 on the bench. Everybody will be involved tomorrow, so you'll see everybody back involved tomorrow. And we've selected a squad to start that we feel's right for the game. And we know it's going to be a tough game tomorrow against Mansfield. We know they're coming with a large away fan base, which is going to add to the atmosphere. But we're looking forward to the game. It's a breakaway from the league. It's a cup game. It'll be a pulsating game. I think it'll be 2 teams that go head to head and go after each other. And we're looking forward to the game. And the message is out to all the Wednesday fans to come down tomorrow and get behind the team, and let's go again for another exciting game.
Yeah, they're going to have to come out, aren't they? Because as you said there, the away following the Mansfield ring, I think it's up to about 4,000 now. What's your reaction to that? It's a remarkable number, isn't it? Yeah,
and it doesn't surprise me because in the proximity of where both clubs are, obviously I spoke about us being this wonderful historic football club in the pyramid of football, So it's a wonderful time, and I can understand Mansfield Town fans coming out and making a real day of it, really. And they'll get right behind the team. And it's the FA Cup. It's the nostalgia of the FA Cup. We know what the FA Cup can bring, and it still has its magic moments. And I feel that, you know, credit to the fans that they're coming out in their numbers, and they're showcasing just the importance of the FA Cup. We've spoken about the revenue, what it can bring. You know, clubs at our levels in League One and League Two, and the potential of a third round draw. So I can see all that excitement. And they're not coming out to make the numbers up. They're coming out to really, you know, come and set about us, really. And there's that real belief in them that they feel that they can come up here and come and take the game to us. So that's why the numbers are there, and we're fully aware of that. But for me as a manager at Sheffield Wednesday, to see that, it's going to add to the atmosphere tomorrow, which all bodes well for a good game of football.
There's a rumour or two there's a couple of dozen Sheffield Sheffield United fans in there as well, but we'll leave that where it is. We're a few weeks into Jimmy Sharp having joined the club. How's he settled in, and has he had the sort of impact that you expected him to have?
Yeah, no, he's been superb, and he's just come in here almost like smooth as like water for duck's back, really, in terms of his progression and transition coming into the football club. He really has, and as I said, he's a real top coach, a good coach. He knows how we work. He's another voice to what we're trying to do here, and he's another experienced body in terms of the coaching, what the players require day in, day out, week after week. And of course, on a match day, tactically, he's part of the team, trying to implement and get those 3 points. So he's done really, really well, and I've been really pleased with him, and really pleased that to add him to the group. And as I said, it's not easy to add another coach to the group, but to add somebody that you've worked with before, that became available and has come in and been part of the run of games that we've been on, the points tally that we've been on. You know, he's been part of it, so we're really pleased with him.
You might well tell me to get stuffed here. Cameron Dawson, will he play tomorrow?
Can I say get stuffed?
Okay, I'll phrase it another way. I was leading into, now, David Stockdale might sit here and say, you know, he's got another 5 seasons in him. Is it part of your thinking that there is a succession plan, perhaps, with the goalkeepers at Wednesday? Is that something you're working towards?
Yeah, I would say definitely, certainly with the younger goalkeepers that we have now in the club, there is a succession plan with them. Obviously, a large part of that will be deterred by how they're getting on and their progression. But in terms of the younger ones in Jack Hall, and obviously Pierce, we feel that we really, Dawson and David and Stockdale are competing for, and I've said it all along, for that number 1 spot at the moment. Obviously, David Stockdale's done really well and shown his real experience. And for a goalkeeper at this stage to have 10 clean sheets, and part of it's yes been the team in front of him, but also David Stockdale pulling off 1 or 2 great saves himself to keep it at a clean sheet. But I just think his game management's been excellent. I think his experience has been wonderful, and I can only say that experience as well as with Cameron Dawson, for him to learn off as well has been great. And we feel Dawson's at a position where, you know, last season he was on loan at Exeter and helped them get promotion. So he showed his class and pedigree after coming back from his injury. So we feel we've got 2 there competing against one another. And as I said, you know, tomorrow, whichever goalkeeper we decide to go in goal, then we expect them to be more than able to do the job required.
How's Cam got on? Because obviously coming from the high of last season, being promoted, 46 games, all the rest of it, some footballers might find it difficult coming back and not being quite as involved. Have you had conversations with him, and how's he taken all that? Yeah,
we've had conversations. We've had a good few conversations. I like Dawes as a man. Really giant of a man. Really is. looks you in the face, very articulate and very calming with his views. We've had some great conversations, me and Dawes. Got the utmost respect for him as a man and as a player. And I really feel he's in a different place to when we first come and when he was carrying the injury, needed some game time. We sent him to Exeter. It worked, the loan worked a treat in terms of for him and for us as a club in terms of giving him games. He's come back from Exeter, wants to play, determined to play, and just wants that opportunity. I would imagine there's goalkeepers probably in League 2 and League 1 that he's probably viewing, that are playing, that he probably feels he's got more attributes than them, but he's not playing. So you've got all those sort of condiments, if you like, to use the word, that's going around in his head with review people in terms of the skill sets, what they have in other goalkeepers. But goalkeeping is a specialised position, and on a match day can only be one. Whereas in the outfield players, you've got 10 where you can be versatile and move people around. With the goalkeeper's position, it's one. So they've got a real unique relationship, goalkeepers, where they understand it, but on inside they want to play. And he wants to play. He does want to play. And as I said, you know, he's sort of waiting for the opportunity that I'm sure he doesn't want to wish it on David Stockdale. That if anything takes a knock or an injury, then he's ready to step in. But as I said, with David Stockdale, he's been performing very, very well. And his experience has come through untold for the team. And in terms of managing games and seeing it, he's been exceptional, really. And I even think with David Stockdale, he's showing his true colours and his form. He's settled down and he understands what we're about, but also he's using an experience. Dawson, as I said, he's just got to keep going. He knows my views. He's just got to keep going, stay sharp. And because usually with a goalkeeper, situations can usually come along when you least expect them and you're ready to perform, and Dawson's ready for that, really. So yeah, I understand his views.
Great stuff. Thanks for that, Darren. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Alex.
Hi Darren, how are you?
I'm not so sure, Dom, this being your last interview. I'm not so sure.
Best questions to the end.
Yeah, we're going to be sad. Should I be interviewing you, mate?
No, I'm not as comfortable as you are.
Okay, mate. So where you going, Dom? Where you going?
Well, I'll tell you tomorrow, Darren.
All right, then.
For the match.
Cheers.
Still a bit. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify with Josh what his injury is.
Just a little strain in his groin. That's all it was, Dom. Just a little strain, and we know with strains, they're never too serious. It's just all about settling them down, really.
Yeah, so like you said before, you're not too worried about it. You think it won't be long before he's back.
Yeah, no, we don't feel that this is one that we think it's an alarm bells ringing. As I said, it's one that it's happened. We get it's happened. Probably I look at the volume of games he's played. Maybe that could have been a contributing factor, but we don't really see too much because it was a little bit probably of a contact injury. But as I said, you know, we've had the results back with him, and he picked up a little strain, so it's just about settling it down. And once he settles it down, it's getting back into training and then getting the movements back in him, really. But we view that it's something that shouldn't keep him out too long, and he won't have lost much fitness for it.
You've got a strong squad, but I mean, is there a chance at all that there could be some academy players involved in the squad tomorrow?
Yes, potentially so, yeah. Dom, there could potentially be some academy involvement in some shape or form tomorrow. But again, like I said, you know, the academy, the youth team's doing really well, as we've seen their progression in the FA Youth Cup, which they'll play on Wednesday. So that's been a real shining light as well. And there's been one or two academy prospects in there that are really doing well individually and rapidly developing really, really well. So yeah, potentially tomorrow in the matchday squad, you may see one or two academy players in.
How excited are you about the youngsters that are coming through at the club?
Really excited, and that's why it's really good. And you know, I've watched all the FA Youth Cup games, and it's been really refreshing for me I thought the game against Derby last week was a really good game. I really enjoyed the game, and great to see the boys moving the ball. Great to see that togetherness, that team bond, and that culture that they've got with them. And I just see a young team just starting to grow and blossom, and confident young men around at Middlewood training ground. You know, when I see them now, and rightly so. And as I said, behind the scenes, you probably wouldn't have seen, but we don't hesitate to bring one or two of them up into the senior squad. And credit to the senior players, when they do come up, they really welcome them with open arms, and it's a safe environment and a learning environment for them. So, and as you've seen over recent weeks with cup matches and league, I've not hesitated to bring them in and include them in the match day squad. I keep saying here at Sheffield Wednesday, it's about developing one of our own. It's really, really important. It's been too long at this club, the size of this club, to have developed our own. And at this current time as a manager, they won't get a better opportunity of staking a claim and getting in the first team and performing. And I endorse that to the academy manager and his staff and all the players. They know that here, Dom. So hopefully, if one or two of them continue on that same path, then it'll be a matter of time before they grace our first team with a real competitive game.
Mansfield tomorrow. Do you know Nigel Clough well?
Yeah, we've competed against each other. We've managed teams against one another. We've got the utmost respect for one another. So doesn't surprise me to see Mansfield in the higher echelons of League Two and competing. Last season I watched them as well when Cameron Dawson was on loan at Exeter. I went down to Mansfield and saw couple of games down there last season. So they for me on the outside, they're a club on the up, you know, and he's brought some real solidity there, some understanding, and he's got a good group of players there that have played at a higher level, and they won't be fazed by the environment tomorrow.
1 defeat in 10 matches, you're on a great run, and how important is it to guard against any sort of complacency creeping in?
That's every week, Dom. That's every week. You know, when everybody will expect the game to be a straight foregone conclusion tomorrow, we never ever predict any game. Why? Because we're playing against other professionals that have showcased why they're professionals. And as I said, we've got to make sure that tomorrow, again, you know, the slate's wiped clean, we've turned the page. The next opponent's up is Mansfield. We've been on a tremendous run of games, but we've got to put that behind us because they've gone behind us, and it's about tomorrow now and looking to perform again tomorrow. And that's exactly what we'll be doing.
That's great. See you tomorrow, Darren. Thanks a lot.
Hope so, Dom. Cheers.